Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, sunshine. How are y'all feeling on this beautiful Tuesday morning? Hopefully you don't hear it going or anything like that, but I do have a fan running because it is so freaking hot. And y'all know when I say it's hot, it's a good thing, right? Because I love the heat. It's 34 degrees Celsius and so sunny, as you can see, having the best day ever. I have a little friend who you might see pop up on the chair from time to time. He's just the cutest little thing, just an FYI in advance, okay? So listen, I am really looking forward to today's episode of the Morning Report because guess what? I've got some new graphics I wanted to try out with you guys, okay? So on the menu for today's topics, we've got Meghan and Harry's Netflix deal, Jenelle Evans sending her kids to school for the first day of school, mind you, in dirty clothes. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about how she went on a date the night of the first day of school for the kids. And we've got some new details on her and David's divorce, how things were divided amongst them. Taylor Swift is announcing her new album. Porsha's mansion, was hit with a lien because her estranged ex-husband, Simon Guobadia, has not paid his lawyer's fees. And finally, we're going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo finally proposing to his girlfriend of 8 years and his baby mama to multiple kids, what is her name again, y'all? Georgina Rodriguez. Finally, you guys, it's a big ass ring, okay? I gotta say, it is a massive freaking ring. All that and more in today's episode of The Morning Report. If you find yourself enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you enjoy my content. But let's see who we've got here bright and early for today's episode of the show. I saw a comment earlier that made me laugh, by the way. We've got Ramster in the house. Good morning. Ramster, I can't believe you're still not feeling well. What is going on? It's been like a little bit over a week now that you haven't been feeling well. So sorry about that. Get well soon. I really wish, I don't know, do you have any ginger in your house? Like ginger, hopefully like that will be able to help boost your immune system. Oh God, that sucks. You know, and it's such a beautiful week too. I would love for you to be out here enjoying it in your greenhouse. Jalisa says, yes, I did. I saw the trailer and listen, y'all, we are going to be covering that new Chrisley family show as soon as it drops. Listen, sorry, not sorry, but I'm obsessed with Mr. Todd Chrisley. I think he's absolutely hilarious. I know he's a mess. I know he's a criminal, but he's funny. Okay. So we're going to be covering that show. And this is the comment I think that made me laugh. I see you, BB said, listen, may you never need a lawyer and much less get Janelle's lawyer. He or she sucked, truly. Jenelle got royally screwed in her divorce, but listen, I can't even feel bad for her. Nobody told her to go out there and find some random unemployed deadbeat to go ahead, marry, and have another child with. Like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And that is a hell of an expensive, stupid prize that Jenelle Evans won, right? Yikes. You got Gala, Tyrell, Paprika, Tadisha, Becky, Venetia, Carly, Allie, Ronnie. Did you hear all those E names like rhyming and whatnot? That was fun. Hey, Hamlet's Princess, Nicole, Kate Ann, Shelby, Melinda, Shauna, Tyrell, Carly, Kristen, Cammie, Nicole, and everybody else tuning in. And those of you in the bushes as well. I'm going to have to start calling y'all Bush Squad. Hello, Bush Squad. Hope y'all are doing well today. Okay, so why don't we get started with the Meghan Markle story? Ooh! Let me tell you, being a Meghan Markle stan will always pay off. I feel bad for Meghan Markle haters. The fact that like her face card doesn't decline, Her body is tea. Her husband is obsessed with her. She lives in the most stunning mansion with a giant garden. She's got like her own beehive. She's got all these dogs and stuff. Like she's got a chicken coop. She is living the freaking life. And so news broke maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that, that like she was getting dropped by Netflix. Netflix was not happy with her and Harry and the, you know, the work that they put out, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Fake news. Netflix is over the moon with these two, and they've decided to go ahead and extend their deal with the Duke and Duchess of Success. And I know I've got some Meghan haters in here. Sorry to the Meghan haters. You lose. Oh, I am so happy for my girl. Okay, so let's get into the story. This is the official release from Netflix themselves about what exactly is going on with their deal with the Duke and Duchess of Success, okay? Their production company, Archwell Productions, has extended its creative partnership with Netflix with a multi-year first look deal for all of its film and television projects. Archwell Productions collaboration with Netflix began in 2020, producing documentaries. We saw that documentary, right? Surviving That Royal Family, that toxic ASS royal family, right? And that was so successful. That was the most successful to this day documentary that Netflix has ever put out. And I think it's one of the most successful documentaries of any streaming platform. I'm sorry to the Meghan and Harry haters, but listen, they are just, you know, they're just so beloved. They really, really are, as much as some people want for that to not be true. Okay. So blah, blah, blah. That's the history of how all that, you know, all the stuff that they've put out there. Right. So what have they put out with Netflix so far? They released the Polo. Listen, Polo was boring. I tried to give it a chance, but I don't know Polo like that. I don't think I'm in the tax bracket to know about Polo. So it was boring. With Love Meghan, so good. I watched it like 3 times. I tried out some of the recipes, tips, and tricks. I'm looking forward to season 2. Heart of Invictus was pretty good. Not exactly my style. Like I watched it, but I went, you know, like it wasn't like With Love Meghan, right? Harry and Meghan, that was a documentary that we were all super gripped by. And Live to Lead, I don't know what that is. I didn't know that that was released. Sorry, I'll have to go ahead and take a look. Okay, so the Harry and Meghan documentary, when it was released in December of 2022, it got 23.4 million views, which is absolutely astronomical. It was the most viewed documentary ever within just 4 days. And listen, I bet you half those views came from the haters. And then With Love Meghan debuted in the global top 10 TV list, top 10 in over 24 countries. And listen, I bet you half of those streams came from me, right? So With Love Meghan season 2 comes later on this month. Stay tuned, you guys, right? Then there's going to be the holiday celebration. Ooh, I can't wait to celebrate Christmas with Meghan. Meet Me at the Lake is coming out. It is a romance feature. There's a Masaka Kids that they're producing. As Ever, which is Meghan's lifestyle brand that consistently sells out of all of its products. Wow. Congratulations to these two. I'm so happy for them. Listen, like there has been a really concerted media effort to tarnish these people, paint them out as like, you know, unliked, unsuccessful, whatever. But, you know, the proof is in the pudding. People love these two. Their projects are doing incredibly well. And Netflix really wants to continue working with them. And I absolutely freaking love that for them. Sorry, Ali, you lose. They got another deal. I love that, love that, love that, love that, love that. Congratulations to the two of them. I am so freaking happy for them. Listen, still I rise, says the great Maya Angelou, right? So congratulations to these two. I just love them so much. And look at how gorgeous that girl is. Like, oh my God. Oh, Lord. Like her beauty is actually like low-key sickening. Like, even when I watch her show with Love Meghan, I was just like, wow, like, she's so beautiful. She is so stinking beautiful. It is insane. Now, listen, what if we talk about something that's not beautiful? Okay. And that is sending your children on their first day of school in dirty clothes. That is something that Jenelle Evans did. And she just posted these photos of her kids on their first day of school. So proud of it, as if that's not what she did. I was like, really, girl? Like, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? So we know that Jenelle spent her weekend partying it up with her friend Tori, who has now officially moved to Las Vegas, right? And so I guess all that partying left her too hungover or something to set aside some clean, pressed clothes for her kids or to do her daughter's hair. Take a look at this photo that she shared on her Instagram yesterday from the first day of school. I'm so upset for them. Look at Kaiser's pants. Look at how dirty they are. Look at the stain on his hoodie, right? Look at Ensley's shirt. It's too big. It's not even like ironed or anything like that. You know, she couldn't have done anything. Like, I don't get it. Jenelle, this is what you post. And you know what? I kind of suspect that Jenelle probably didn't even take them to school herself. Like maybe she had somebody else take them and to take this photograph. This is crazy to me that you post this. Like you're so proud that this is how you sent your kids to school on their first day. Like, listen, I remember my first, we had something called, we had Payless shoes and then we had Call It Spring. Every year on the first day of school, I would have my special new shoes laid out next to me, you know, just below my bed. I'd have my special new outfit when I was in school without uniform. So for my high school or middle school, I should say, we had a uniform, right? But that uniform would be freshly pressed, clean, washed, everything, you know, and then I'd have my new shoes or something like that. Maybe a new, I don't know, right? Like something. And I'm not saying that the kids' clothes have to be new. I'm just saying that they got to be clean, baby girl. This is the first day, you know, like I'm just thinking about the way I was sent to school for the first day versus the way that these kids were just sent to school. And mind you, my parents did not have Jenelle Evans, Teen Mom, OnlyFans, you know, coin. Like that's crazy, girl. That is crazy. Again, I really think that she partied a little bit too hard. And so she was too hungover to set these kids properly. But here's the thing. You know, before you go out and do your partying, and Jenelle is a very experienced partier. She's been at this for decades, right? Wouldn't you be like, okay, well, I'm going to be too hungover. So I want to be as efficient as possible. I want them to look as good as possible. So why don't I make sure the clothes are already clean, make sure the lunch, the snacks, everything are already packed, set them aside. So that way, you know, I'm putting on my sunglasses because, you know, I'm seeing molecules, like the light is too harsh, you know, from all the alcohol I'm drinking and all the weed I'm weeding and whatnot. And I'm just telling them, go wear this stuff. It's already set aside for you. And they look good. And, you know, it's less work for me, right? Like this is just so remarkable, but not in a good way. You know, I'm saying that in an insulting way, right? Like that's remarkable that she sent them to school like this, but I digress. Listen, overall, the outfits, it's just, yeah, please clean. Clean is the most important thing. I just do not understand how she messed this up for the first day of school, but this is peak Jenelle, right? This is peak Jenelle. This is how she is, just so like, I don't care sort of a thing, right? I don't get it. Anyway, let me see what y'all have to say about this in the live chat, if you're watching live, or in the comment section, if you are part of the Playback Posse. By the way, what do y'all think about these tickers? Because I do put the timestamps for like, you know, the Playback Posse, but now like you get to know if you're like just skipping around what's coming up next, just a little bit of an FYI. So Shauna saying Diane Downs, listen, I hope it doesn't end that way, but you know, she very much does give Diane Downs sort of a vibe. Mess. You guys were not feeling that picture. Jump scared. Sorry, y'all, my bad. Hey, Porsha, nice to see you. Good morning. Jaleesa is not impressed. Hamlet says she thinks it's enough to show up to take the picture this time. And that's the gag. I'm not even sure that she actually showed up. Like, how much do you want to bet that like somebody else brought these kids to school and then sent the picture to Jenelle? Remember, Kale Larry's various baby daddies have exposed her for that. They said that that's something that she does as well, right? To make it seem like she's a lot more present than she actually is. And this is Becky about Meghan. Yup, she's got it all. Oh no, she's not insufferable. How? No, please give season 2 of, what is it called again? With Love Meghan a chance. She is so adorable. Crazy Dalmatian Lady says probably Kaiser's old shirt on Ensley. You know what? Let me go ahead and run that back because it does look kind of masculine, this shirt, right? And again, it's too big for her. It's not ironed or anything like that. So I don't get it. Listen, like I think she could have done a lot more, right? I think she could have made a bigger effort for these kids for the first day of school. And I remember everybody always had their Sunday best for the first day of school. So just to show up looking like that, you know, versus everybody else who's going to be polished and everything to the nines and whatnot, like, I don't know. Like I feel bad for them. Ali says this is an ex-nanny. That's pretty typical attire for some children. Really? I feel like maybe later on in the school year, but to start things off, damn. Winnie the Cat says, why was Kaiser dressed for a chilly fall day when he's in the desert and it's like 100 Fahrenheit? 37 Celsius and you're wearing a hoodie? That's crazy. Because right now it's 34 and I've got the fan cranking up, you guys. I can't imagine wearing a hoodie in this weather. Mind you, it's hotter for him over there than it is for me over here too. Well, that's true, which also begs the question, why is Ensley wearing an oversized like denim, you know, whatever this shirt is in that sort of a heat? I feel like, you know, I don't know. Like I don't know. Like maybe Janelle's cold from like the come down or whatever she was on. And so she thinks everything else is cold or something. I don't know, but it's so strange to me. I don't get it. Raven says, I think they look fine, except Kaiser looks like he bent down on the ground on his knee and maybe got food on his hoodie, right? Ali says the clothes look musty. And then Lex says Kaiser looks miserable. Poor kids. I hope they have a good school year. Yeah, I hope so too. Listen, they must be so happy to have like some hours away from her at the very least, because there was a time where Jenelle, at the behest of her ex-husband, David Eason, had the kids homeschooled, right? Which meant that they were never really able to interact with other children. They were always like stuck under these two 24/7, right? And all the fighting, the screaming, like nobody really checking on you and making sure you're getting proper education, proper anything. Like this at least is a relief. You know, it sucks that they're not being sent looking their best, but at least they're away and able to learn and to interact with the outside world, right? Porsha, we got an insider, y'all. Porsha says Janelle's daughter goes to my son's school here in Vegas. She's a mess, but her daughter is a sweetie pie. So do you see Jenelle in the drop-off line? Porsha, was Jenelle actually there to drop the kids off yesterday, or is this like somebody else that she sent to drop the pictures? Can you be her boots on the ground? Like keep us posted on what's going on here in the school. Like, do you have any scandalous stories about Jenelle at parent teacher night? You know, at my school, we used to have like these open house types of things, like these barbecues or whatever. Some funny things that used to happen back then. Do you guys have those kinds of things? Is that like a Canadian thing, or do y'all have it too in the States? Winnie the Cat says kids are mean too. Send your kids looking like that and you're begging for them to get bullied. And that's the thing. That was my first thought. Kids are so freaking mean. And the first day of school is when like everybody looks so freaking polished, you know? So for her to not even really try or whatever, like, I don't know, like that kind of sucks in my humble opinion. So once again, there's a picture of Jenelle sending her kids off to school in dirty clothes. You know what? So, you know, like I told you guys, she spent her weekend partying and moving Tori across state lines, right? So she wasn't preparing for this. This was the last thing on her mind. And speaking of the last thing on her mind, she probably was also preoccupied trying to sober up because she had a date that night. Take a look at her Facebook. Sometimes there are no words for Jenelle, right? Like Jenelle is just so fascinating. So here she is on her Facebook making this announcement Monday night. So she says, once you get over the nervousness of that first date, it gets easier. All right, girl. Who are you on a date with? We want some tea. We're interested in knowing how all of this went down. And how the heck did she find time to even go out on a date? Because mind you, she was partying with Tori over the weekend. Then she was allegedly sending these kids off to school the Monday. And you mean to tell me that, you know, instead of a nice debriefing session, like how was the first day of school? Like, is everything cool? What do you think about your new teachers, your new classmates, blah, blah, blah. She hightailed it over to a date? Huh. All right, girl. Listen. Very, very fascinating. She's just so fascinating to me. She says, one baby don't stop the show. Two babies don't stop the show. Three babies don't stop the show neither. Great question, Linda. I'm going to have to look further into this about Jace's education. But don't forget, Jace was getting into a lot of trouble at school and whatnot. So I do wonder if he's been placed in some sort of a special program or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to speculate without having the answer. But I imagine that something like that could be at place or could be the reason why you're not seeing him. Didn't I tell you all I had a friend somewhere? Look, that's Julian. What was I saying? So, that could be the reason why you're not seeing Jace in those particular photos. Maybe his school is a different school. This might be an elementary school. This might be a middle school or something like that. I don't know, but very, very interesting stuff. I'll keep an eye on it for you guys, okay? He might be getting homeschooled. Maybe he might be going to some kind of like special school. I don't know. Gwen says, I just don't get why Jenelle is so comfortable being this kind of non-mom. She would be better suited to being a dad or a big sister, just saying. Not a dad. The men are catching strays today. That is absolutely freaking hilarious. But I agree. Like, here's the thing. Like, you have one as a teenager because you don't know how contraception works or you don't know that it exists or something like that. Like, right? Like, you got that teenage ignorance, whatever. But then to go and do it 3 times when you were just so clearly not interested in the whole motherhood thing, like, that's insane, truly. Hamlet, I love the name Maggie. It's so cute. It reminds me of the baby from The Simpsons, and she's so cute. Today's my Maggie's first day of 7th grade, and I can't wait to hear about her day. Janelle has one feeling, and it's for herself. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, after the first day of school, the scoop, like we would all be coming home with the tea, like, oh my God, there's all these new this, there's all these new that, I'm in this class. Like, it was a time, right? Like, this was like a fun, exciting time, like, as a family and whatnot that like you would discuss. And so I don't know, like, it's just so crazy to me that in lieu of that, she went on a date. Like, okay, girl, like, that is so freaking fascinating. I really have no words for it. Oh, Hamlet's, I think you told me this before. You said her name was Magnolia, and I was like, wow, what a beautiful name. It's so like royal. It's giving old money, Magnolia. I love it. Ronnie says, how many different dogs do you want? Listen, I don't know. It all depends. Listen, in my building, a couple of people have dogs, right? And so they all know that I freaking love dogs. So this girl, for example, she's actually American. I don't remember where she's from in America, but she's American. And so she's taking her French classes today. And so she's like, Grace, would you mind? I said, absolutely not. I freaking love, especially the small ones. So I couldn't give you a proper number. It just depends. Porsha says, I very rarely see Jenelle at drop off. Yesterday was chaos and I didn't see her. I told y'all Jenelle was not there. I told y'all she did not take this picture. This obviously is not 100% proof. She wasn't there and didn't take the picture. I'm just saying it's very likely that Jenelle could not get up in time. Listen, you're partying until late. Like, how are you going to get up early, to bring her kids to school? I don't know, right? I told y'all. Porsha didn't see her. Last school year, I rarely saw her. There you go. There you go. Do you know who like drops the kids off, or does she like kind of like drop them off at the curb and they have to like tuck and roll and get in there because she doesn't want to be recognized or something like that? I'm really, really curious about it. Hamlet says my husband wanted to call her his sweet little Magnolia. That's so sweet. I love these names. I don't know if she's still here, but there's another viewer. And I remember she sent me these like Valentine's cards back when I had my PO box. Her name was like Sage. I was like, wow, what a beautiful, cool name. I love these like earthy nature names. Winnie says, so she can pay for nannies, but Jace's mental health care, right? And now she could also afford, which we're about to get into, right, in the details of David and Janelle's divorce. But she could also afford to pay David like $5,000 a month, right, in addition to all these other things. However, she is not interested in paying for Jace's mental health. Mind you, the only reason that Jenelle even really has money is because of Jace, right? Just saying. Now, speaking of deadbeat David Eason, why don't we go ahead and talk about that divorce? Shout out to the Ashley's Reality Roundup for getting some more intel as to the division of assets in the Eason household. So as we already knew, or I should say as previously reported by the Ashley, Jenelle got to keep the house and the land surrounding the house. David got other miscellaneous plots of land that they have. And then after that, she got to keep some cars. He got to keep some cars and some other vehicles. I think she got to keep an ATV. What else? She got to keep her she shed. He got to keep his, his own personal he shed, I guess you can call it. And she also had to pay him $30,000 cash that she must pay in at least $5,000 monthly installments as well. Right. So on top of that, Jenelle is solely responsible for paying off the tax debt that she and David have in owing to the North Carolina Department of Revenue, which is about $40,000. And because she got to keep the house, she's responsible for the rest of the mortgage, which is $139,000, which I don't understand because that house was purchased a very long time ago, and I don't remember it being so expensive. So I kind of get the impression that maybe they were taking out mortgages and loans against the equity of the home, and that's why they still owe so much despite getting it for so cheap so long ago, which, maybe that's how they got the boats. Maybe that's how they got the ATVs and different things like that. So, by the way, the value of the house, according to the Ashley's court filings, is about $388,000, which I'm actually quite impressed by because, again, like the plot of land didn't seem that great. It already started sinking very early on after they had placed the land on the house on the plot of land. But you know what? Very interesting stuff. I guess it was a good investment overall. And so North Carolina, which is where they got married and divorced, is not a 50-50 state, but they do try to follow a certain principle of equitable distribution. And so the two of these people worked things out in mediation. And again, Jenelle owes David about $33,000 that she's going to have to start paying out, or she already had started paying out as of the 1st of this month. So there you go, David. Listen, squatting on that boat paid off. Sticking with this chick for, 6, 7, 8 years or whatever, paid off because now you have made a pretty penny. He went into that relationship with nothing. He walks away with $33,000 cash, plot of land that he didn't have to pay for, vehicles he didn't have to pay for, guns he didn't have to pay for. Mind you, David is not even supposed to have guns and ammo right now because of the restraining order that Jenelle has against him, which is very fascinating. More info on that over on the Ashley's Reality Roundup. But overall, very, very screwed judgment for Jenelle. But here's the thing. David was, as far as I'm aware, or as far as my opinion goes, he was the primary caretaker of these children, right? Like, did he put care into these children? Not necessarily. However, he was the one primarily responsible for them throughout the duration of their relationship. And so it does make sense that he gets to walk away with a certain amount of money, right? Because anybody who primarily takes care of the children should be compensated for that work, right? So he was technically a stay-at-home dad. Right. So there's that. But Jenelle, girl, how could you? Right. I think it's one thing to get a guy with marketable skills, with a certain level of, education or curiosity about the world, and then have him stay home and raise your kids. But to get this guy who just is just such a hateful, just toxic person with really of all the guys that you could have pulled, and I don't think she could have pulled that, much better or anything like that. But I don't know. I still do not get it. Why this guy of all guys? Right. Ronnie says, did you see the video where she was on the quad and said you didn't get everything? Yes, I did. So what Ronnie's referring to is a TikTok video that Jenelle posted where she's yeah, boo boo, you didn't get everything. And so she hops onto the quad with Tori in the back and they jet off, essentially. Raven says the kids are better with Jenelle than abusive deadbeat David. Men date too, but she should only date if she finds someone great, in my opinion. And I agree. But again, I do not know that Jenelle can pull someone who is a great person just because of where she's still at in her life, right? And her history as well. I think it's going to be really tough. I think she needs intense therapy. But the problem with Jenelle is that she doesn't think there's anything wrong with her, right? And so that's not an avenue that she's willing to explore. And it's funny because I am reading her book or her memoir for my channel members. And the last chapter that we read just a couple days ago was her talking about how this guy that she was in love with, that she lost her virginity to, his name was William. He had to dump her because she was already psycho at 14 years old. She was telling him all these things, trigger warning, by the way, about how she wanted to delete herself for fun or what, she's just very unwell. Winnie the Cat says, I don't agree with the taxes. That should have been split down the middle. And I completely agree as well. Why is it that this man gets to rack up tax debt and walk away scot-free? That ain't fair. Shelby says he gets to lay hands on the whole family and she still has to give him money. She's making on OnlyFans every month. Make it make sense. And that's another thing that I am kind of curious about in law. I don't know if any of you guys are legals, but why is it that DV is not grounds for automatic disqualification when it comes to assets, alimony, things like that, right? I kind of feel like if you have been proven to be ABUSIVE to your spouse, there's no way that your spouse should ever be obligated to pay you any kind of money in a divorce. Melinda says, I agree with Winnie. It's crazy they didn't split the taxes owed, right? Yeah, it's very weird. Listen, and it's crazy because David was really scrambling to even get a lawyer. Like this guy, he doesn't have the money for a lawyer yet. Somehow he got better lawyers than Jenelle and all the OnlyFans and T-Mom money that she has. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing. It truly, truly is. Winnie the Cat says she's basically going to be paying herself child support and paying for David's lawyers. And that's the gag. David is so behind on child support. So why does she even have to give him the $33K? Why not take this out of the child support that he already owes for Ensley? You know what I mean? Because I imagine he already owes around that much, if not more, right? And again, when it comes to the weapons and stuff, why does David get the weapons when David is not even allowed to have weapons due to an active restraining order against him? What the F? Raven also says, why does Jenelle have to pay all of that and the rest of their debt and house and pay him all of that? Yeah, I don't get it. He got all those cars. Exactly. Where the hell did she find this lawyer? Is it an actual lawyer? Because this is insane. Gwen says, my house is worth about the same now. But it's over 80 years old and I own only one acre. Oh, excuse me, girl. Only 1 acre. That's crazy. That's massive. A property. Isn't the land a pretty sizable chunk of swamp? That's the thing that I don't get, right? Like it is a swamp. So how is it worth so much? Listen, lucky for them, right? That it appreciated, but damn. PE says she lost bad. 132K loan, 40K taxes, 30K to David, and attorney's fees, boats, vehicles, etc., just to pretend to win by keeping that nasty trailer. I honestly, she needs to sue her legal team because how the hell, right? And the fact that they settled on this in mediation and didn't take it to trial, I would not settle on this kind of a deal. Absolutely freaking not. She got screwed so hardcore. But maybe she was at a point in her life where she just wanted to be rid of this man, at any given price, right? Like whatever it takes to get this man out of my life, let's do it, right? Or maybe continuing to fight would rack up more lawyers' fees for her, which would mean that at the end of the day, even if she got to keep more things in the cost of lawyer fees, it would even out, if not, come up to even less. I'm not sure, right? Raven says, Kenley said a few months ago that David didn't want anything when people were telling her Jenelle paid for it all. Well, that's a lie. Oh, come on. And Kenley, please don't be the next one to go and marry this man because you are going to suffer the exact same financial fate. And you know what? Probably the same emotional fate, probably the same physical fate as well. I still do not understand why that woman decided to entangle herself in David Eason's web. Absolutely insane, right? And again, getting having your partner, your spouse, your husband, whatever, being a stay-at-home dad is great. But David, shouldn't you find somebody who would be a great at the role? That's so crazy to me, right? I just do not understand, right? And you know what? This is a good call, Gwen. She should write a book, and please let it be better than her other book. Again, we're reading this with my channel members, and channel members, you can confirm, right? It is a painful read. It's the read between the lines. It's so poorly formatted. She's got her diaries in it, but half the diary entries are barely even legible. It's so freaking bad. Honestly, Winnie the Cat says Canal in her little video bragging about taking some of the kids' Christmas birthday presents was just peak. Oh God, listen, she's laughing now, but she's not going to be laughing for long. And because Canal is such a fan and she's so addicted to the spotlight, at least we know that when ish hits the fan, she's going to be coming out and talking about it. So thank God for that at the very least. Brie says, honestly, she's so dumb to be fighting her for the land. I agree. Honestly, good freaking luck to Jenelle and David. And again, Jenelle, please sue your lawyers because it is absolutely insane that you got screwed so hard in your divorce settlement. I do not get it. David could barely even get a lawyer because he didn't have money. He was squatting on her boat. Yet somehow his legal team absolutely obliterated. And I mean, truly, truly obliterated Janelle's legal team. Can I ask y'all what you think the secret is? So I think that finally what he did was he got a lawyer on contingency. So now the payments that Jenelle has to make towards the $33K cash that she owes him, they go through David's legal team. So I guess they skim a little off the top before transferring it to him so that they're guaranteed to have their money back or something like that. But damn, like I'm truly impressed, but like not in the good way. I'm impressed, like, damn, like that's crazy. You know, maybe Jenelle should have found one of those types of lawyers. Maybe she should like get, you know, friendly with them for her next divorce. Cause y'all know our girl's going to be getting married again, right? Which means you also know that our girl's going to be getting divorced again, right? Is that rude? It might be. Yeah, it might be. But is it true? Yeah. Anyway, why don't we get into our next story, y'all? We've got Taylor Swift. Are you guys Swifties or at least Taylor Swift music fans or anything like that? Y'all know I like Taylor Swift's music, but not in the like hardcore stan sort of a way. Like it's kind of like, okay, I can move my little hip to it. I can sashay a little bit to it. You know, might even bounce my shoulders once or twice, right? But she made the announcement yesterday on her boyfriend Travis Kelce's podcast. By the way, do you think these two are going to get married or anything, or engaged at the very least? Because they've been together 2 years. They're people of a particular age. So I'm kind of curious. Do you think that this is going to be something that is long lasting? I think it's actually very huge that Taylor chose to give that exclusive announcement to her boyfriend's podcast, right? So I do think there is like some seriousness to this relationship, but maybe it's all PR. I don't know. It's really hard to tell with these Hollywood people, right? So anyway, let's take a look at the video that from the podcast that of Taylor Swift announcing that she's coming out with her 12th studio album. You're going to find out what it's called. However, she's going to be hiding the album art. Take a look.
So I wanted to show you something.
Okay. What do we got?
We got
a briefcase.
Yep.
Mint green with TS on it.
Yep.
What's in it?
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
TS12!
Yeah. Such a nice color on you.
Yes, I know. It's the color of your eyes, sweetie. That's why we match so well.
We're about to do a podcast.
A big announcement. Taylor Swift's 12th album is coming out, y'all. By the way, about the Jenelle thing. I know, Carly, we're so close. We're over halfway there. Thank God. But yeah, are you guys looking forward to the new Taylor Swift album? I really do hope that it's you know what albums of hers I loved? I loved Reputation and I loved Lover as well. And then I loved her early singles also, right? Teardrops on My Guitar, Love Story, Hey Steven, these sorts of things. So I really hope that it's in that kind of vein, because I did not like the COVID series of albums that she put out. I hated the Tortured Poets department. So I'm really hoping that we get that like fun, happy sort of like vibe back. Hey, Deshauna. Deshauna says she is not a Swiftie. Sorry, Taylor. You do not have a Swiftie over here. But you know what? I think I'm the same way. I appreciate her music, but I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie, and I wouldn't go to a Taylor Swift concert unless someone gave me the tickets for free. But even then, I don't know. Listen, I don't like going to concerts because it's far out of town, right? And then like the metro or the traffic there, so jam-packed, right? And then coming back and then using the bathroom in the stadium. I don't like it. So I only go to like big concerts for big artists that are like big to me, right? That I love, like Beyonce, right? So for example, like there are other artists that I really like, but I'm like, not enough to go see them in concert. Just saying. That's like my barometer of how much I love them. Do I want to go get cramped like a sardine in a tin can to go see them on a show and everything? Like, that's my barometer. Good morning, Acacia. How was your hike yesterday? Nice to see you again, boo. When he says, it's honest. Bree says, I think they're married. What makes you say that? I want your theory on this ASAP, please. What makes you think that these two are married? Carly says, my sleep paralysis demon is a Swiftie. You know what the visual came to my head? You know that meme of overly attached girlfriend, like hanging over your bed? That's what came to my mind. Hey, Nicole, I was able to go back. Yes, you could go back. So enjoy. that segment. Acacia says it's a PR relationship. That's what I thought too, right? Like, I don't know that I see these as like actual partners, because again, Travis always had a very particular type, and it just wasn't really Taylor. And then for Taylor, I think she's a little bit more eclectic. So I think he can be her type. But again, I don't think intellectually he's there for her. And I think these are some things that she hinted at in the Tortured Poets department. So I just don't know, right? I don't know. Like, I don't know. But listen, things can surprise you, right? Like, I don't know. And I will tell you guys that I don't love the name of the album either. What is it called again? But I don't love it. Like, I didn't like the title Tortured Poets Department. It was very corny and cheesy. And then this new one, Showgirl, something like that. I don't like it either. Gwen says, I kind of expect her to rush to marry the very next person that asks her, probably within the next year or so. That's what I think too. I don't see it being Travis. I think that Travis and his family, by the way, his brother was really sweet in that video and really encouraging. And, you know, but I think that he and his family are all like very like attention starved. So I think that they're all just kind of using this as like a joint come up opportunity for them. Right. So I don't know. I just don't see it. And again, I don't think he's on her intellectual. I'm not saying intellectual level, but wavelength, right? Because we all have different vibes, different things that we're looking for, right? That feed our souls. And I don't think that what he's got feeds hers. That's what she told me in the Tortured Poets department anyway. Deshauna says her songs are catchy though. They are, right? That's the thing. Like, I like the singles, but just not the overall body of work enough to go to a concert. And another thing is, I feel like going to a Taylor Swift concert would make me feel old, because her fans are like these tweens and stuff, right? So it's like, it just doesn't feel like a grown woman activity for me anyway. Okay, Gwen, my bad. Hey, Theo, nice to see you, boo. It's the title influenced by The Last Show Girl, right? Like, it's kind of corny. Like, I don't know. That's the thing about Taylor. She used to have really good album names. I love when album names are like one or two words, right? But when it's like this, hang on. What is it even called again? Hang on, I have to look it up. The Life of a Showgirl. What is that? I don't know. I don't like these long album names, right? I loved Lover. I loved Reputation. Like, these sorts of things were really good. Speak Now was good too. Like he says, I only like when she pretended to be country in the beginning. And I loved her country too, like the twang, the guitar, her curly hair, ses cheveux bouclés. I really, really, truly loved it. Allie's not here for it either. She says, no thanks. And Jaleesa's excited for the Swifties, but she doesn't care for her. Listen, I love that you're excited for that community, right? Like, that's really, really sweet. Shai says, I'm with you. Only Beyonce is worth seeing in concert, right? Like, going to a concert is a hassle. It is truly a freaking hassle. I am only going if I absolutely freaking love you. And that's it. You know, speaking of, there's this festival. We've got Rock on Sen. There's going to be Doechii there. And I love Doechii and I want to see her, but she's the only artist at the festival I want to see. But then it's like, I have to be standing. I don't want to be standing for hours. I want to see her in concert, but like, I don't think she'll come and do a tour until her next album comes out. So I don't know. Do I go to this festival just to go to her one set? You know, like, it's so, like, the logistics behind this stuff is hardcore, y'all. Like, you have to, anyway, I feel like as you get older and older, you have to like really love someone to like be willing to go all the way out for them, right? Carly says, honestly, my anxiety with big concerts is so bad. So Taylor's not my thing. Respect for her success. My husband is in a few bands. Oh, that's cool. What type of music? And their shows is as close to concerts as I get these days. And that's the thing. I love these small, intimate, like, concerts so much, because for those of you joining me, this is my new friend, Julian. I'm watching him from my neighbor. I've become the neighbor, the building dog sitter. And it's just the best thing ever. It fills my house with so much warmth. So yeah, I really love these small, intimate shows. And y'all know I'm a jazz girly, right? So I love going to like these little jazz things and blah, blah, more so than going to these big things. And like, you know, didn't Taylor Swift concerts have like these kind of terrorist attempts, just like the Ariana Grande and stuff? So like, I definitely get people having anxiety about these giant concerts, you know? Exactly, showgirl, like something like that. Boom. I don't want to be saying a whole phrase, right? When I'm talking about your album, just saying. I'm sorry, Taylor. Listen, a lot of my co-reporters are not really Swifties. We can appreciate your music, but we're not going to your concert, boo. Sorry. You're a billionaire anyway. You'll be fine. Oh, don't make that face. Lisa says, did y'all see Beyonce sent all? Yes, I saw that. That was so nice of her. And it actually reminded me of Taylor. Taylor is also very generous. And so I remember that she gave her dancers and her crew like all these kinds of Louis Vuitton gifts as well after her tour. So I really love to see and hear about celebrities being really generous with their dancers and their crew. That's so awesome. And look at these concerts y'all have coming up. We've got Winnie the Cat saying, I'm going to see Brad Paisley on Thursday. Love that. Have a great concert. Kahara says, I love concerts. I'm going to see Tanner Adele on the 20th. That's so exciting. And I hope that, like, you know, her working with, I almost said Giselle, like I know her like that, working with Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter, on the Cowboy Carter album helps, you know, fill her stadium and everything. She's so talented. And I personally never would have known her without Beyonce. So that's really cool. I hope you enjoy Kahara. Like he says, I go to concerts so much that they don't bother. Really? Oh my God. What's your secret? Please help someone like me who really just is not built for that. I'm so happy that you guys like the pets. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, his name is Julian and he's so sweet. But listen, he's down here now. Scared me. He's not snipped though. Which, you know, I think she should go ahead and get him snipped. Angela says she's also dog sitting right now. Isn't it the best? Listen, if you're like me, commitment phobic towards having animals or whatever, like, you know, open yourself up to, like, you know, pet sitting for people that you know or whatever. It's just so fun. Or maybe do like I used to do in Canada. In Canada, I used to foster them, and that was the best. Angela says, I've never understood how Taylor Swift has such a huge fandom, but I also don't understand how she has so many haters. I loved her country era. Yeah, her country era was so good. I used to love her, and I didn't even know I liked country music like that. But lo and behold, country Taylor was like my girl, for real. Listen, guys, I'm going to take a quick little break. We have a word from some of our sponsors. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about Porsha's mansion being hit with a massive lien. Is Simon scheming on her again? And lastly, Cristiano Ronaldo has finally proposed to his girlfriend of 8 years, Georgina. We're going to talk about the ring and, you know, predictions for this marriage. On the flip side, if you're enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. I'll see you back real soon. The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Tired of learning languages in boring, frustrating ways? Try TalkPal. TalkPal is your personal AI language tutor. It teaches you languages in fun, engaging ways. It gives you real-time feedback, assesses your pronunciation, and the learning process is personalized just for you. Join millions of other learners and start your language learning journey today. Lucky, I am shook. 55 concerts for 55 artists. That is freaking impressive as hell. Holy cow, that is amazing. Good for you. Listen, I am so jealous that I just, you know, I don't know what happened. You know, en français, on dit, je suis trop flemmarde. Like, you know, kind of lazy, you know, j'ai la flemme, quoi. Oh my God, that is so freaking cool. Bree says, I went to see Morgan Wallen and we'll see Tate McRae. So you're a country girly, Bree. Tate McRae in September. I miss Shakira when she was in LA. I would love to see Shakira as well. I really like Shakira. What is it? Las mujeres no lloran, las mujeres facturan. I love that. Listen, I'd love to see Shakira too. Listen, now y'all got me wanting to go to more concerts, but I'm so lazy. You know, when I see somebody's coming, because we always have everybody coming here too, right? But then I go, oh, that sounds amazing. And then the date approaches and I go, oh, I'm too lazy. You guys, why don't we get into the Porsha Guabadia of it all? Listen, it's like Nene Leakes said, you never win when you play dirty. And that's something that Porsha and Simon did. Their relationship, dirty. Marriage, dirtier. Divorce, dirtiest. Now look, right? When you covet the life of somebody else and you are so desperate to have what the next person has that you go like the dirty dog that you are and you start creeping with their husband, right? This is the sort of thing that happens. A man who's creeping around behind his wife's back is not a good man. And now you're learning firsthand, you know, why that is, right? And it's same for Fallon, right? Jalen saw firsthand that a woman creeping around behind her husband's back is not a good woman. So then what happened to that relationship? They got on all these TV shows. He's crying. She groomed me, even though I was in my 20s and whatnot. Like, there's only like a 10-year age gap between us. She groomed me, blah, blah, blah. I'm responsible for everything. She doesn't do it. Like, why do you think these people, like, come on now, right? The headache. And she's having a bigger headache and divorce from Simon than Fallon ever had. When it came to Fallon, it was pretty cut and dry out, right? Simon was dragging Fallon on social media and whatnot. Porsha was perfectly fine with it. But, and, you know, back when I was watching that play out live, I was like, this is horrible. Like, this guy is terrible. But now that is peanuts. That is nothing compared to the way that Simon is putting Porsha through the ringer. Shout out to the Jasmine brand for this scoop. They're reporting that Simon's ex-husband, or Porsha's ex-husband, Simon Guobadia, hasn't paid his divorce lawyer. He owes them $205,000, $884.25. And so an attorney's lien has been filed on that mansion that Porsha is now living in per their prenup. Mind you, that home is worth $7.3 million, you guys. And Simon Guobadia was recently deported from the United States of America, right? I don't think he's going to be able to get back in, at least not for the next 4 years. So it makes me wonder who exactly is paying for this house, right? So he wants to spite Porsha. He's not allowed back in the U.S. So why would he continue to pay for this house that he can't use and is being used by his ex-wife that he hates, right? So to me, I think that this is only the beginning, right? You've got the lien. Maybe there's going to be other liens placed on him. Maybe he's just going to stop paying for the mansion. Like, you know, maybe he's going to go into foreclosure or something like that. I would not be surprised, right? Who would have thought that things would end this way? I knew that things would end quickly. I knew that they would end poorly, but I never in a million years would have imagined that they would end exactly like this, with him being deported and, you know, Porsha having to bleed out for this damn mansion, you guys. Absolutely insane. So, yeah, honestly, I just, I don't know what to say, right? So in addition to letting Porsha use the mansion, in the prenup, he also is supposed to pay her $40,000 a month for the next 14 months as well and cover her legal fees, right? So I think those are the legal fees that the lawyers are after, right? So $224,000. So maybe he started making some payments and then he stopped, right? And so he also bought her a Rolls Royce, and she gets to continue to use and keep that Rolls Royce as well. That's the second Rolls Royce that Porsha has had bought for her. In the past, TMZ spilled her tea on getting some old, you know, I'm not talking about old, like, you know, just being like hyperbolic, like truly old, like somebody like 70s, 80s. This married, you know, man in Nigeria had bought for her when she first broke onto the scene in the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Honestly, I really hope that like this is a wake-up call to Porsha, that she needs to start making smarter decisions. She's got a daughter to look after, right? And she just can't keep doing this, right? Like maybe at this point you realize you have enough material items, you have enough money, and it's time to start looking for real love, right? Like still you could look for somebody who's successful, just like you're successful, financially stable, just like you're financially stable, but you don't have to let money be the only motivator, the only driving force for you being in a relationship with somebody, right? Because look at where it's gotten her so far. Not that far, right? 2 marriages that didn't even last 2 years. And a whole bunch of other heartache and nonsense. So Lisa says, oh, you're going to see Bad Bunny. Oh my God. Si te quieres divertir. I love Bad Bunny. Oh my God, I'm so jelly. I'm hoping to see him next year in Milan. Wow, please tell me how it goes. Oh my God. Jaleesa, you are traveling, y'all. Jaleesa, she was traveling all up and down the United States for Beyonce. She was supposed to come to Paris for Beyonce as well, but she's coming now later this year. And now here she is going to Puerto Rico. Were you telling me you're going somewhere else too? Ooh, you need to be a travel influencer, Jaleesa. I'm telling you. Acacia says, I heard Morgan Wallen was such a vibe. You know, I kind of feel like out of the loop because I hear this name all the time, but I don't know who that is at all. I couldn't name a Morgan Wallen song at gunpoint, y'all. So I need to look into who this person is. Like, if y'all like him, I better like him too. Like he says, music festivals are my jam. I'm trying to see Crystal K, a Japanese artist, on the 17th, and I'm trying to go to Warp. Ooh, I've heard about Warp. I don't know the details, but I've heard about Warp. This is amazing, Lucky. You're a bon vivant. And I love that. Super nice. Please let us know how these go. Tadisha says Porsha should have left Simon over there with Messy Fallon and Pool Boy Jalen. Exactly. She should have never, ever, ever gotten involved with this man. She didn't even know him when she got engaged to him. They were dating for like a couple of months, right? You have to get to know a person. And when your fiance is like bragging about how he just discards women and calls the U-Haul truck like almost immediately and whatnot, like when he's done with them, you got to take note and maybe walk away, or maybe ask some serious questions and really, really try to protect yourself and think about every like possible scenario, right? She was smart to get a prenup, but even that doesn't protect you 100%, right? Like, because look, this guy gets deported. And by the way, you guys, I still do think that Porsha's the one that called ICE on him. Do y'all think so too? I think she did it. She said, oh, really? You want to talk crap about me? I'm calling ICE on you. Can I ask you? No, actually, no, that's not a good question to ask. I'm not going to ask it. Okay, fine. I'll ask it. Would you have called ICE if Simon was your ex-husband? There's no judgment here. There's no judgment. Would you have called ICE? Because I really do think that Porsha called ICE. Hey, 2 snaps in the Z formation. Nice to see you, boo. Good morning. Lucky says that's what Simon gets, right? Well, now it's kind of like, yeah, that's what Porsha gets too, right? Because if the bank wants that house back and she's the one living in it, she's the one getting thrown out. He's already been thrown out. Bree says Bud Bunny is such a great performer. How exciting. Oh my God, you've already seen him too, Bree? Oh my God, y'all are really, listen, that's somebody I will travel for, and I will actually go to a different country for. We have such a big, like, Hispanic community in Paris that his stuff sold out like this. But in Milan, in Italy, it's taking a while for his stuff to sell out, or his concerts to sell out. So I think that's where I'm going to go. I just need to plan. Carly says my best friend is seeing The Fray tonight. Oh, that's so cool. Living vicariously through her from my couch. Listen, sometimes the couch is great with some good popcorn. Bree says the Morgan Wallen concert was so good. Bree says the other Bree, look, there's 2 Brees back to back, says absolutely not. Oh, Morgan Wallen is a racist. Really? Oh, Lord have mercy. That's scary. Damn. I didn't know that. Listen, I don't know this guy. I hear about his name from time to time, like people liking his music. Can I say, I actually thought Morgan Wallen was a girl. You know who I was thinking of? The one that like Kyle Richards is creeping around with, that girl. That's who I'm thinking of, I guess. Her and Jenelle sound like they would get along, right? Like, listen, she is just a freaking mess. A freaking mess. Lord have mercy. Lord. You guys are not answering my question. Would you have called ICE if Simon was your husband and he was messing around with your check? Just asking out of curiosity. Carly says, oh, have you all seen how the actor Dean Coyne joined ICE? Yeah, I heard about that. That is absolutely insane. Oh my God. Jalisa says Bad Bunny and Beyonce are the only people I care to see live. I always see them. So you've already seen them before too, right? Listen, I'm hoping to see Bad Bunny too. Let me know how he goes, okay? And then I'll go based off of your review and what I've got going on next year as well. I wouldn't call ICE, right? Gwen wouldn't either. I wouldn't. Yeah, I know my moral stances mean I'll never be rich over here. Yup. I definitely would have called, says Acacia. Listen, what would I have done? I don't know. I don't think I would have either, but I would have been tempted to. I can't even lie. I would have been tempted to. Now, you guys, that brings us to our final story of the day. Cristiano Ronaldo has finally proposed to his girlfriend of 8 years, Georgina. Thank God. Listen, the ring, it's gaudy as hell. It's tacky as hell, but so is Georgina. And I love that, right? Like, not everybody is a minimalist. Not everybody is clean girl. Some people are maximalists. Some people are gaudy. Some people are mob wives aesthetic. And that describes our girl perfectly, right? So I think that this ring is very well suited to her. I don't know how she will be able to like wear it, like, for day-to-day use. She already does have a lot of really gigantic diamond rings and other gems as well. However, this one truly takes the cake. It is massive. I imagine her getting it like made into like a pendant necklace or something like that, right? Eventually, just saying. Yeah, the 2 of them have been together for 8 years. She came into the picture after he already had like 2 children or something like that prior. And she stepped up to become a stepmother to them. And then she had children by him as well. The 2 of them suffered a very devastating stillbirth as well. So to me, seeing that he's finally proposed is really exciting. I'm really happy for the 2 of them. However, and this is something I told my friend Julie as well, I do worry that they're not actually going to make it down the aisle. I think typically when 2 grown people who are financially stable, so I'm not talking about high school sweetheart, college sweethearts, or if you started dating in your early 20s and y'all were broke. I'm talking about 2 people financially stable, or if one person is financially stable enough for the both of them, in this case, and they've been dating for like a decade, and there wasn't a proposal earlier, when a proposal suddenly comes, to me, it typically means that it is a last-ditch effort, right? So we saw this with John Cena, Nikki Bella. We see this with many, many relationships. We saw this with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, right? So either they won't make it down the aisle like John Cena and Nikki Bella, or they will, but it won't last long, is what I'm worried about, right? I'm not saying this is what's definitely going to happen, but these are my worries when it comes to these two, right? What about you guys? Do you think that they are actually going to make it down the aisle? Let me know in the live chat if you're watching live, or in the playback if you are part of my playback posse. And let me know what you think about the ring. I know the ring is gaudy again. However, I think that it absolutely suits Georgina because this is her style. Like if you guys follow her on Instagram, she is about as ostentatious as it gets. I think that she and Lauren Sanchez could be good friends because Lauren Sanchez is also very gaudy and ostentatious. Winnie the Cat says, yuck, don't like it at all. Listen, I don't blame you. It's tacky. It's tacky. It's a very specific kind of taste. Lucky says, I did not recognize him from this angle. Honestly, he's giving, I don't know, how you doing a little bit with all of like, it looks like he got his brows done. It looks like he got lip filler. I'm seeing Botox, everything. Like it's, yeah, not the greatest angle. Bree says, I love this. So happy he proposed. Finally, beautiful couple. Very, very beautiful couple indeed. I think that they are a really good match. You know, I watch their show from time to time on Netflix. I Am Georgina. And I think that she's great for his kids, especially. And I love what they've got going on. And I hope that it lasts. Bree says that ring is a cocktail ring. LMAO. She likes it. I love it. And that's exactly what it is. I don't think that this is something she's going to wear from day to day. She already has a bunch of other like quote unquote engagement rings that, you know, she wears often. And so I think this is just something, maybe it's an investment, right? It's like, sorry, it took so long. Here's a big ring that you can have, you know, and maybe you could turn it into a necklace. Maybe you could sell it. I don't know, but I'm happy for her. You know, she seems like a nice enough girl from what I've seen of her. Lex says the boulder is crazy, isn't it? Tadisha says, wow, that ring is huge. Also, 8 years is a long time to be with someone plus kids and stepkids. Exactly. Honestly, I feel like if someone's coming into the picture and you've already got kids and they're willing to love your kids and raise them, you know, and pour into them as if they're their own, like you should be so freaking like, I don't know, like you should be like, I don't know, like I think it's crazy that that's the person that steps into that role with all of that already, you know, in the picture. Like if that were me and I had kids and someone wanted to step in like that, I would be like, wow, like, oh my God, like this is amazing, you know? So it's crazy to me how they're the ones typically begging for the ring, right? So you saw this with Taylor and Corey, for example, in the Teen Mom universe. Like he already had his daughter. Taylor comes into the picture, loves his daughter, has more kids with him. Like she's the primary parent because he's always out, you know, working, and he's able to do that because of her. Yet she's the one begging for a ring. It's crazy to me. Absolutely insane. So I'm happy for you, Georgina. I really am, girl. Cammy says, if they're happy, good for them. Congratulations to them. Amen. Amen. And listen, I really do hope they walk down the aisle because I would love to see this covered in their show. And I want to see what kind of a dress Georgina wears. Lucky says, who's his first baby mama? That story's always kept hush hush. Well, they're trying to say that it was some sort of a surrogate situation. Some other people are saying it's some Afro-Portuguese lady. I really don't know what the truth is. Like that's something that's so mysterious about this man, right? And I agree, Lucky. I do worry that it might be a shut-up ring. I hope it's not though, because again, I do love them together as a couple. Good morning, Amelia Bedelia. Hope your day is off to a great start. Alice says, who are these people? You don't know who these people are. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest soccer players of all time. Well, that's him and his now fiance, Georgina, you guys. Super duper cool. I'm really happy for them. Bree says, I think they might stay engaged. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Like Gretchen and Slade from the OC Housewives. Maybe they work. Yeah, how it is now. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. At which point I wonder what's the point? You know, maybe just get the ring and say this is a promise ring. It's not an engagement. To me, an engagement means that there's an intention to marry. And if there's no intention to marry, to me, that's just a promise ring. Just saying. Carly says, everyone have a nice day. My little one has conned me into going to the zoo. I'm praying for you, Carly. I hope you guys have a great time at the zoo. Thanks so much for popping in again. And sorry in advance, but we're going to read another chapter of Janelle's book. Sorry. Bree says that some lady, I saw a YouTube video about her. Oh, he got her to sign an NDA. Really? And took the kid. Damn. Honestly, that whole story is so freaking weird. A lot of people are bringing up his past. So I'm not too familiar with this. I will have to look into it. So y'all know how I said I wanted to like start doing deep dives. I think this might be one of the deep dives I do into like the grape allegations against Cristiano Ronaldo. So a lot of people are bringing those up, with this engagement news. So I kind of wonder if, you know what I mean? Cami says, the zoo is fun. Carly, how old is your little one? And Carly says she is 4 going on 15. What a handful. She's great, but the energy is never ending. Oh, God. That's what keeps you young, Carly. Little firecracker like that. Ali says, I thought football players had good taste in jewelry. You would think, right? But listen, this is Georgina. Georgina is a maximalist. She's gaudy. So it suits her at the end of the day. I would never imagine her with like a clean girl, classic sort of a thing. Bree says, I heard somewhere they're moving to Dubai. Don't you have to be married there to cohabitate? They live in Saudi Arabia, girl. And they've been living there for a couple of years. In fact, Saudi Arabia actually bent the rules and the law specifically for them. I wonder if maybe that might be it too. Maybe there's some kind of like time limit for that. And they said, all right, now, like, we tried it for you guys, but now it's time to I don't know, right? But I really do think we're worried that this might be a Hail Mary sort of thing. Sometimes in relationships, long-term relationships, there might be like, I don't know, the 7-year itch, 8-year itch or something like that. And then they try to cure it with an engagement or a baby and then boom. So I really do hope that that's not the case. Anyway, y'all, I wonder if this is something we're going to get to see on the show. So Georgina on Netflix, right? Remember, she's got her own reality show. Do you think we're going to get to see the proposal? Only time will tell. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another amazing episode of The Morning Report. Please, in the live chat afterwards, or maybe in the comment section, if you enjoyed our topics list graphic, and if you also enjoyed our ticker at the end, for example, here, I'm going to put it back up, showing you what stories are coming up next or whatever, please let me know, and I can continue to make them for future episodes of The Morning Report. Okay, you guys, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I am melting. I think you could see my face literally melting here, but I do have to go out and take this little cutie pie for a little bit of a walk, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, you guys. Thank you. Bye.